Welcome to the Private Practice with Soul podcast. My name is Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and I help private practice owners align their business back with their soul's calling, with their big vision and with their soul's purpose. Unlike other private practice coaches, I've traveled the world in search of spiritual resources, spiritual tools, education and information so that you can have the transformation that your soul desires and needs so that you can up-level your business. How much fun is this? I love it so much. Guys, if you're not already a member of the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group, please check out the show notes. I would love for you to be there. In the meantime, thank you so much for pushing play today. Let's begin. Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast. I am so grateful that you pushed play on this episode, and I really want to welcome all of the new subscribers and of course honor the people that push play on episodes every weekend and every Wednesday. Thank you so much. So I am really excited about today's episode because it's going to be super practical and super transformational, because I have set the intention to help you feel more confident in your work after listening to this episode. And I'm going to give you some tools and techniques and strategies. So the masculine side of your energy is going to be super duper happy, which will then create space for the feminine side of you just to show up in the beautiful way that feminine energy does when it comes to serving clients, building rapport, working on relationships, and of course receiving. So let's get started. Please, if you haven't got one yet, do go and get a pen and paper, because there will be prompts and you may want to take some notes as we go through this, especially if you're a new listener, because I'm going to be elaborating on some work that we did in a previous episode. And yeah, I want you to get the most out of it. So, I really want to help you feel more confident. And the reason that this episode has come about is because in the ACPPO and in some of the other groups that I'm in, confidence in the work that we do is so important, because don't you agree that how confident we feel, or our level of trust and faith and belief in ourselves, has a ripple effect energetically to our clients through all different elements of our business. You know, if we don't feel confident, how are we going to market our business well? If we don't feel confident, how are we going to manage those inquiry calls well? If we don't feel confident, how are we going to charge the fee that feels aligned and right for us, you know? So this is what we're focusing on today. And I'm going to interpret this with two things in mind. So choose what you want to work with. Okay, you can either you can use any barrier or challenge or obstacle that you're experiencing. But those of you who are in the ACPPO, we are doing money training tomorrow on fees. And so it'd be really great if we could support you by getting you into, a better mindset. So maybe listen to this episode through the lens of thinking about your fees. For those of you where fees aren't an issue and you feel energetically aligned with them and you feel confident and good and worthy and all of that sort of beautiful stuff, fantastic. Maybe use this episode to really think about your confidence in terms of showing up and doing the work. Okay, because again, there were conversations I had this week about people who were qualified to do the work, but not feeling confident to sit in the session with a client because, for example, maybe we feel like we have to be across every single therapeutic modality and intervention, and you know what I mean? All that sort of jazz. So I would encourage you to, if you're in the group, think about money so that you can be ready for tomorrow's episode. If you're not in the group, think about some other challenge, like maybe a confidence in session with clients. So we're going to use one of my very favorite models, which is the 4 levels of consciousness. So I know some of you will remember this, but if you're new to this, don't worry, I'm going to explain it to you today. So in every moment, okay, with everything that happens in our private practice and of course in our life, we interpret certain events through context and content. Yep. And these contexts and contents are always in a state of ebb and flow, but we use them to navigate the world around us, okay? And generally speaking, when we're talking about the 4 levels of consciousness, we break these contexts and contents up as follows. We have the first level of consciousness, which is to me. Then we have the second, which is by me. And we have the third, which is through me. And we have the last one, which is as me. Okay. Now, it's important to know, because we're talking about consciousness, and consciousness is not finite. It's kind of like energy, in that it doesn't have a beginning or an end. It ebbs and flows as a state of flux. You're not always going to be locked into one state of consciousness. Okay. What you will notice is the more you come to understand and integrate these 4 levels of conscious awareness, you will start to notice maybe in your marketing you feel like you're in as me consciousness, but in your sessions you might feel like you're in through me. And when it comes to setting fees and creating policies, you might think that you're in by me or whatever. It doesn't matter so much which state that you're in, as it does that you understand which state you're in, because it's that understanding that's going to allow you to move up into that next level of consciousness. Now, the other thing, and this is why I'm saying to you, it's really important that if you're in our group, you do this work today with fees in mind, because I want you to be able to take on board the information that I'm going to be sharing with you in the training and the PDF that I'm going to be giving you. But what I want you to know is that you will only ever truly be able to understand situations from the level of consciousness that you are in. Okay? So this is important to know, because tomorrow when I provide the training, some of you might be in as me consciousness, okay? And talking to someone in to me, you're going to interpret that information very, very differently within your own context, all right? So maybe I'm going to have a conversation with you in the 4th level, and if you're in level 2, you're not going to hear what I'm saying. If you're on level 3, you're not going to hear what I'm saying. If you're in level 1, you're not going to hear what I'm saying. Okay? You can only hear from the level that you're in. And because I want this training tomorrow to be super expansive, I want to help you get a shift today, so that you can better hear what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Okay? So, what are the 4 levels? And let's interpret them today in terms of fees. So, to me consciousness is the state where we are at effect instead of being at cause. Okay, so you're saying that the things that you're experiencing when it comes to your fees is a result of external forces that you have no control over. Okay, so we've all been there, because we all have to move through all 4 levels. So we've all been there. Okay, but basically this is saying I don't have any control over what my clients will pay. I don't have any control over Medicare. I don't have any control over other rebates. I don't have any control over what ACA and PACFA are doing in terms of my fees. I don't have any control over who will pay, because I live in a demographic that struggles financially, etc., etc. So it doesn't matter what you're actually thinking. The crux of this level of consciousness is that you are saying I'm stuck here because of something external to me, because I have no power, I have no control. It's a type of victim mentality. Okay, it leaves us feeling like we're absolutely the victim of outside forces, and we don't have very much control over our mood, because how we feel about our fees is determined by those outside forces. Okay, so some of you who are listening to this are in this state, and that's okay. What we're going to do today is move you into the next level of consciousness. So if you can identify with this, it's fine. You're in a great position to up-level your mindset today. The next level is by me consciousness. Okay, so the first one is to me. Everything's happening to you. You can't do anything about it. You're powerless. You have no control. From there, you move into by me. Okay, so the second state replaces that feeling of blaming everybody else for why we can't charge our fees to taking some responsibility over our fees and what we charge. So this energy is really about you feeling empowered because you get to create something here. Okay, you get to create a fee. When you take responsibility for something, as I've said to you in previous episodes, that's when you can take control of things and make a change, make a difference. Okay, so it might be hard for you to hear, and this is where we come into what I was saying a moment ago about you can only hear from the level of consciousness you're in. If you're in to me consciousness and I say to you, hang on, start taking some responsibility instead of being a victim, and when you take that responsibility, you can then take back control. You're going to resist because it's hard for you to hear that it's possible for you to take control. But I'm going to give you steps that will help you shift between the level of consciousness. So don't worry. But by me means that we get to choose how we're going to set our fees. We get to choose how we respond to those external things that are going on. Like we get to choose how we're going to respond to clients who want a Medicare rebate. We get to choose our own fee. We get to choose who we're going to serve. We get to choose what our minimum fee will be. We get to choose what our hourly rate is. We get to choose if we're going to charge for all sorts of different things. It's choice, right? And that choice is very empowering because it puts you back in the driver's seat, okay? So when we are in this state of by me, we're energized by it. Okay, we've gone from that sluggish feeling of life is hard and it's all too hard and it's depressing and no one's ever going to pay my fee and stuff like that. When we move into by me consciousness, suddenly we can feel this rush of energy because suddenly we're feeling expansive. Opportunities are opening up. We are seeing more of, the opportunities for what we can do and how we can create this change. So it's really, 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 really powerful and, as I said, energizing. Okay, which is amazing. But we kind of can only use so much energy for so long and then we're going to hit a little bit of a wall. Okay, and so that's when we then move into through me consciousness. Okay, through me consciousness. And that means really that we're surrendering to what is. We're surrendering to that present moment. Okay, so what this means is when we're in by me consciousness, we are creating the conditions for our success when it comes to our fees, right? We are choosing what our fee is going to be, what our cancellation is going to be, if we're going to have one, if we're not going to have one. It's all driven by us. Go, 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 go. Through me is saying, okay, I understand that I've gone as far as I can now, and I am at a point where I am going to start to see myself as a conduit, as a vessel, as whatever verbiage you want to use, but to receive that intuition, to receive that inner guidance, to receive that internal guidance. So there's really a very strong sense of flow, and there's very much a strong sense of things happening through you. It's like you have inspiration, you have these sudden downloads. It's like instead of pushing, you kind of step back and you allow yourself to receive inspiration or guidance, as I was saying, about what to do next. It's kind of like how, you can be struggling with a problem or something, and then you can go for a run or a walk or a drive or a shower or whatever it is, and then boom, suddenly inspiration hits. This is what through me consciousness is like when it comes to your fees in private practice. Okay, so maybe You've gone as far as you can with your fees, and you're thinking to yourself, I'm not sure really what to do next. Should I leave them as they are? Should I keep tweaking them and changing them? You're kind of at that sort of point where it's kind of stagnant. And what you're going to do in the through me consciousness is just allow yourself to stop doing all of the things. Okay, it's not about action. The by me stage is very much masculine energy. It's very much action, 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 action. The through me energy is more of that feminine receiving, opening yourself up to receiving that bolt of inspiration about what you want to do when it comes to money in your private practice. You know what? It could be anything. Maybe you get a bolt of inspiration around, I want to buy instead of rent. I want to self-manage my super instead of paying to my Hester, or do you know what I mean? So it's allowing yourself to be open, okay? And making decisions based on that gut feeling because you've put all the other foundational work in place. The last or the fourth level of consciousness is as me consciousness, okay? And as me consciousness is really, really beautiful because it aligns so much with the way we like to work with our clients in session, like in the therapeutic context. But for those of you who also have belief systems or faith systems or spiritual systems and things like that, this is really a level where you start to stop seeing yourself as separate, and you stop seeing your fee as a separate entity, right, that separates itself from the rest of the business. You start to really embrace and recognize and appreciate oneness. So it's the fee not as being connected to the practice, it's the fee as part of the practice, allowing the practice to have a heartbeat, allowing, what can that fee allow you to do? It's really thinking about, not seeing your clients as, able to afford you or not able to afford you. You're starting to see that money frequency is money frequency, and you're going to receive what you put out. You're starting to believe that it's not just about the money, that it's about frequency, that it's about vibration. And you're starting to realize now that people don't come to you because they want counseling or psychology or social work. People are coming to you because they want your energy, they want to be in your space, and that's the therapy for them, right? We all know there are so many meta studies around the efficacy of interventions and treatments when it comes to counseling. And when I say that, I'm also referring to psychology and social work here, that consistently show that more important, the better predictor for a positive therapeutic outcome is not what technique you're using, it's who you are being as the therapist. It's how you are showing up. It's all of that invisible stuff. It's the relationship. And so when you're in as me consciousness, all these things that you were worried about before suddenly melt away because you begin to allow yourself to accept that it doesn't matter. Your fee doesn't determine whether or not people are going to book with you. You begin to accept that your fee doesn't determine how worthy your services are. Your fee doesn't determine how well you help somebody with a transformation, right? You begin to realize your fee actually has very little to do with what you're trying to achieve. The fee is just a pathway or a byproduct of that. Okay. And it's when you get to that space that you can do things like detach from the outcome. Here, the outcome is the fee that you're charging. You can detach from that outcome, and it's by focusing on who you're being and focusing on how you show up, that the fee doesn't even become an issue, that the diary doesn't even become an issue, because you find that people are attracted to you. Okay? So I know that that's going to be super hard to hear for so many of you because you're just not at that fourth level yet. In fact, studies show that between 90 and 97% of entrepreneurs and business owners are either in to me, that victim mindset, I can't do it because of something, or they're in by me. I'm trying to fix it. I'm go, 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 and they're taking all of the action. So what are the steps? I guess I have 6 steps for you that you can write down. So maybe just as I say it, pause it and then go on to the next one, pause it. But get them all written down first. I'll just move through them now. The first thing that you want to know is how confident do I feel charging fees, all right? And if you like, rank that from 1 to 10. And we're just talking about fees today because I want you to be prepared for tomorrow's training. But if you're fine with fees, maybe swap out that challenge for something else. Like, for example, you could say, how confident do I feel counseling? Yep, or doing the work. And you could rank that from 1 to 10 if you like. The second prompt is, why do I feel this way? Okay, why do I feel this way? The reason that I want you to ask that is because I want to give you a chance to unpack where this belief is coming from, because that's going to help us identify what level of consciousness you're currently in. Okay, and it's not that one level is better than the other. They're all just different levels, but please be honest with yourself. Otherwise, this isn't going to work for you. And as I said, it's only you and I here. Nobody else is going to see what you're writing. So please be honest with yourself when you do this. Okay. The third question is, to ask yourself, which level of consciousness am I currently in? Okay. As I just said. The fourth question is, how is being in this level of consciousness impacting my business? How is it impacting my practice? Okay. So in terms of getting you ready for tomorrow's training with the money, I want you to really think about, how is being in this level of consciousness impacting my practice financially? Okay. And really allow yourself to unpack this. Just free write, just do that beautiful stream of consciousness writing and allow yourself to keep going deeper and deeper and deeper with it. The fifth question is, I've got to read my own writing. Am I ready to shift my level of consciousness? Now, this is an important one. I think you're probably going to say, many of you will probably say yes, but I really want you to think about it, because being ready to change is such an important predictor of whether or not you will. But you also have to remember what you're going to be releasing and what that means for you. And you have to remember too that sometimes change can feel a little bit uncomfortable or a little bit scary. So be honest again with yourself about your readiness to change. So the next question then is, okay, we want you to, now that you've got the idea here of what level of consciousness you're in, I'm going to give you the next steps, all right? And they're going to be different for all of you. So I'm just going to start with to me, to by me. If you've identified that you're in to me consciousness and you feel like everything happens to you and against you and around you and you've got no power, the way for you to move into by me responsibility is by me, which is I make things happen, right? I'm in control, is to start taking responsibility for your fees. So for you, if you're in to me consciousness, your prompt is, how many ways can I start taking responsibility for my fees? The next one is, if you're already in by me consciousness, where you're like, yeah, right, I make my fees happen and I'm really confident with my fees and I've got good fee policies in place and I'm not sure what to do next. You want to move into through me consciousness, and through me consciousness is where you ebb and flow with, what's happening, but you also allow yourself to be guided by tuning into, bolts of inspiration and acting on them, gut instinct and acting on it when it comes to your fee. So for you, It's going to be less about taking responsibility and micromanaging fees and stuff like that. You're going to be surrendering, okay? So for you, your prompt is going to be, how many ways can I surrender into my fees? Okay, how many ways can I surrender into my fees? How many ways can I surrender, let go of doing all of the things about my fees and allow myself to receive inspiration for them? And then if you're already in through me and you're wanting to move into as me, which is, there's no separation of us and our fee. There's no separation of us and our clients. There's no separation of us and life. What we're going to do is ask ourselves, how many ways can I begin to embody oneness with my fee? How many ways can I begin to embody oneness of my fee and my practice? How many ways can I begin to embody oneness between my fee, my client, and my service? Okay, or whatever it is. But these are the prompts that you use. So if you're wanting to create change, this is the way that you can achieve that change through using the 4 levels of consciousness. Okay, so here's your homework. I want you to do this work as it relates to your level of confidence with fees today, because tomorrow I've got some very, very powerful resource for you and training for you, but you need to be ready to hear it. So if you're in to me consciousness, then I definitely want you to do the work so that you can be in by me consciousness, because tomorrow there will be tools that you can take away, but they're not going to work if you're stuck in victim mindset and you think that nothing's going to ever change. All right. So this is really important for those of you who are in to me consciousness. So it was my intention today to help you feel more confident in setting your fees or showing up in your sessions or whatever it is that's that's an obstacle or a challenge to you at the moment after listening to this podcast episode today. So I hope it has. Of course, send me an email or connect with me on Facebook Messenger and let me know if you had any questions about it. For those of you who are in the ACPPO, we have training tomorrow at 12 noon. If you can't attend, that's fine. I will leave the information up in our group. Okay, it can also go over into our portal a little bit later on, so you can always catch the replay. And I hope that this was so helpful. If you need support, using these journal prompts, or if you're coming into some kind of emotional or philosophical or whatever it is block and you're just struggling to do those journal prompts, let me help you. That's what I'm here for. Just connect with me and ask for a little bit of guidance, and we can absolutely do that. Okay. Anyway, I am hoping that this was really, really powerful and really, really helpful. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you, I guess, on Wednesday's episode. Not that's really seen, is it? I will connect with you on Wednesday's episode. For those of you who are in the ACPPO, I will see you tomorrow. And I look forward to hearing how you went today. Okay, bye. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Private Practice with Soul podcast today. If you're looking for clarity, if you need help with branding, your processes, and bringing everything into alignment with your soul's purpose for your private practice, head to the show notes and click the link for more information about the Private Practice Monthly Mentorship Group. You are going to love it. I can't wait to see you in there. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.